Chapter 15. Old man, what happened? Giovanna approached Luyu and asked with a worried look on her face. Their son, Lu Shan, and daughter, Lu Shui, also walked over with worried expressions. It's nothing. There are some people who are blind and insist on having me redo the test again. Just now, Luyu briefly told his family what had happened. After hearing this, they couldn't help but feel a bit worried. If he were to take the test again and lose his martial master status, wouldn't Luyu be in trouble? However, when they saw Luyu's face brimming with confidence, they didn't say anything anymore. Meanwhile, in the office of the advisor to the city lord. The advisor to the city lord, Qin Cheng, was on the phone. When he heard the report from Yidong, his face instantly darkened. This guy is really audacious. He actually wants us to go over there to test him. Fine, I'll go over today. With that, Qin Cheng ended the phone call and contacted the manager of the East End Dojo, which was the closest to the Resplendent East restaurant. He asked him to prepare the testing equipment and rush it down to the Resplendent East restaurant, where he would conduct a new test for Luyu in person. Then, Qin Cheng personally led a team of security forces of the East City District and headed towards the Resplendent East restaurant. At this time, the city lord's advisor, Qin Cheng, could have already gotten off work to rest. However, Luyu's matter had undoubtedly angered him and he decided to resolve it in person. Qin Cheng sneered and muttered, "Your name is Luyu? If there is any problem with your test results today, I will immediately arrest you for fraud and throw you into prison." Meanwhile, in the East End Dojo, the dojo master was not there at the moment. The executive deputy dojo master Dai Chao had just received a call from Qin Cheng and received his orders. Quick! Prepare the latest and most sophisticated testing equipment and bring it to the Resplendent East restaurant. Deputy dojo master Dai Chao bellowed after ending the phone call. Very soon, the latest and most sophisticated testing equipment was ready. Deputy Dojo Master Dai Chao personally led a large number of martial arts warriors and swiftly headed for the Resplendent East restaurant. After all, the city lord's advisor was a civil official and not a martial arts warrior. He still needed to lead his people there to provide support for such matters. As the executive deputy dojo master and an advanced martial master himself, Dai Chao was definitely strong enough. Very soon, everyone rushed to the restaurant in a bustle of activity. The city lord's advisor, Qin Cheng, was the first to arrive with his men. Upon arriving, Qin Cheng asked, "Where's Luyu? Is he still here?" At this moment, Luyu was trying to calm his family down. Upon hearing Qin Cheng's voice, he immediately responded, "I am here." Qin Cheng followed the direction of the voice and arrived in front of Luyu. He sneered and nodded, saying, "Good, good. At least you have guts, you didn't run away. Just you wait, the testing equipment will arrive soon. Today, we will administer the test here." At that moment, with the new development, the surrounding crowd began to discuss the matter heatedly again. "I can't believe even the city lord's advisor is here. I'm afraid this Luyu is going to get it this time. One look and I can tell that he angered the city lord's advisor. He's probably going to suffer." Sigh, of all the people he could have offended, he had to choose the city lord's advisor. Is this guy someone that ordinary practitioners like us can afford to offend? It's time to get off work, but the city lord's advisor is here in person. It seems he's going to teach Luyu a good lesson. At this point, Luyu didn't care too much. He continued to pacify his wife and children. There were already a lot of people at the restaurant and it was getting a little chaotic. His wife was only an ordinary person. And his children hadn't awakened as martial arts warriors yet. Luyu was worried that they would be injured, so he simply asked them to leave first. His wife and children were naturally unwilling as they were quite worried about Luyu. "Don't worry, it's fine. Trust me. You guys can go home and wait for me. Don't worry about anything." Luyu smiled and said. Seeing the confident smile on Lu Yu's face, Giovanna, Lu Shan and Lu Shui became more convinced. Under normal circumstances, Lu Yu was an extremely down-to-earth person and wasn't one to boast. They chose to trust Lu Yu and left straight away. Be careful, old man. Giovanna turned around with one last reminder. Seeing this, the others didn't stop them. This matter only concerned Lu Yu and had nothing to do with his family. They all allowed the family to pass through. Not long after, a large group of people from the East End dojo arrived. Immediately, more passers-by were attracted to come and watch. What's going on? Isn't that the executive deputy dojo master of the East End dojo, Dai Chao? Dai Chao is an advanced martial master. What important matter has made him come out here personally today? And why did he bring so many people with him? I heard that someone wants to redo the test on the spot. This is going to be interesting. The passers-by debated animatedly among themselves. The city lord's advisor, Qin Cheng, brought out a more superior testing equipment. This testing equipment looked like a big sandbag externally, but it was actually made of special materials. Not only could it test the force of a candidate's strength more precisely, the upper limit was also much higher. The highest it could withstand was the advanced martial master. Anyone below the level of a great martial master would not pose any problem for this device. When the surrounding gawkers saw the new testing device, they started discussing it noisily. Isn't that a testing device that only advanced martial masters use? They even brought it here. It said that the device can be used to test anyone below the level of a great martial master. This is also the latest model of the testing device. There definitely won't be any problems. At this moment, the city lord's advisor, Qin Cheng, was personally checking the instrument in detail. After confirming that there were no problems, he looked at Lu Yu and said, "You should also check it for yourself." After confirming that there are no problems, we will begin the test. Lu Yu didn't understand these testing machines, so how could he check them? In any case, he truly did have the said level of strength, so he had nothing to fear. Lu Yu walked one round. But he couldn't see anything amiss. He then simply said, "I don't know anything about testing equipment. Let's begin." "Alright, let's start then." Qin Cheng nodded his head. Qin Cheng wanted to see what other tricks he could come up with at this time. The moment Qin Cheng saw Lu Yu, he was convinced that Lu Yu's results were fake. If he was really a martial master, how could his hair turn white at the age of 90? Martial masters had a lifespan of 200 years and were still in their prime at 90 years old. Their hair wouldn't be white at all. Only martial arts warriors or ordinary people would have white hair when they were 90 years old. At this moment, the passers-by standing nearby were watching intently as well. They were extremely curious, noisily guessing what the final outcome would be. Lu Yu walked directly to the testing device. He activated the Great Tao Heaven Devouring skill and increased his inner strength skill by 14 times. Thereafter, he activated the Furnace skill, igniting his blood health vitality and doubling his strength. With the additional enhancement of the passive skill, Critical Hit, under full power, there was a random increase in power of anywhere from 10% to 100%. Furthermore, at this moment, Lu Yu had just eaten his fill, so he was able to trigger another increase in his satiety state. Lu Yu then activated and unleashed his crushing punch. It was simple, but bursting with incomparable speed and might. At this time, Lu Yu's punch strength was already more than 2,000, in fact, close to 3,000 kilograms. All the multiplication factors were stacked up and they reached an amplification of about 60 times. The figures on the instrument panel jumped and changed rapidly. Soon, it exceeded 10,000. Not far away, Qin Cheng and Dai Chao, as well as many passers-by who were watching, all stared at the changing figures on the panel without blinking. Chapter finished. See you all in the next chapter.